Hello, everyone. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Real Estate View. We are so excited to be here. I am Mickey, and I'm joined by my super co-hosts, Kim and Lorraine.
Hi, everyone.
We seem to do that simultaneously every
I
time.
know every week. How's everyone doing this week?
Good. How are you ladies doing?
We're doing well.
Yeah, this has been a pretty good week. Pretty good week. We went
And
out.
we're starting the last quarter of
Yeah.
this year. So it
Yep.
feels very strange to think that we're wrapping up the year.
Mhm.
And preparing the next year. So
Yes.
it's a lot of like meeting with the team, figuring out the plans for next year, reworking on the vision, adding more clarity where we need to. Yeah, so we're busy with that, with planning.
And not only I think planning, but kind of reflecting on what's happened
Mm,
during the year as well, like kind of checking in on, okay, at the beginning of the year we had certain goals. How are those goals going? Can we actually, make our goals? Have we made them already? So a lot of, as you said, reflection and excuse me, planning.
Yeah, reflection, planning, doing some housekeeping, figuring out what didn't work, what worked, and how we can, bring that into the new quarter, the new year to be more prosperous.
Yep.
yes, that's the
Absolutely.
whole goal, right?
Yeah,
It needs to be profitable, like,
exactly.
Yep.
but it's fun thing. So who's gonna start the topic?
Well, I think our topic today is, and it kind of ties into what we were just speaking about in terms of the different things that we handle within our business. And what we wanted to talk about today was just the different opportunities available within real estate. And I think we sort of termed it the different hats that women especially are wearing within the real estate industry, whether it be being a general contractor, being engineers, inspectors, realtors, investors. I mean, there's so many different opportunities. Um, so yeah, I think we wanted to just highlight and touch upon that today.
Yeah, I mean, with in real estate, it's not just being a realtor. When people think of, oh, you're in real estate or you're investing, they automatically assume that it's just all about being a realtor. But you being an agent is one aspect, one position that you can hold in the real estate realm. But then you have brokers. You can be a managing broker, meaning you own your own firm and you have agents that work underneath you. You can be in commercial. You can be a commercial real estate agent, like you said, an appraiser, investors like we are, and property managers, leasing consultants. I mean, the list goes on and on,
Yeah.
real estate
It goes,
developers.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many, so many different roads that you can take, in the real estate world.
I I I wanted to, to just start the baseline here, saying that again, as women in the real estate world, we start with different hats than men's. And for many of us, just the role of being a daughter of someone, right? Having that daughter's hat might means a lot of things, right? I know like today, Aisa and I are going back and forth. Although she has brother, she's the only girl in her family, the only daughter, and somehow, she is the one that has the role of making sure that her mom's goes to medical appointment and
Mhm.
all of those things. So it feels like the caregiver hats
Mm,
often falls on us women.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then, of course, you are the mother, you are the spouse, there is a lot of responsibility that ties into just our gender as being woman. So we come into that real estate world, like, with like those little hats that are there, part of our experience. And then we add on more hats. But I wanted to ask you specifically, like, Lorraine, what are your hats? Kim, what are your hats?
Yeah. So I feel within real estate, I think I have a few hats. So I'm an investor. I also have my real estate license. So I'm a realtor. Kind of.
Hold on, we have to count. We have to count. So Two, three. How far are we again?
No, I just have really two, I think, at this point, relating to real estate. But then, and I think we'll kind of touch upon this as we talk about or we go through our conversation, but sometimes those hats lead to other hats. So
Yes.
within real estate, then yes, I picked up I'm a notary as well. So I guess that's another hat that is tied to the real estate industry. Tax professional and involved with legal. So those are other hats that I wear sort of outside of real estate. But again, they all they all tie together. So and really kind of touching upon the point that you just made about women generally being caregivers, there's usually that multitasking aspect to it, right? For women. I mean, you're taking care of yourself, you're taking care of family, you're usually working. Like there are all these different responsibilities that you have. And I think that also ties into being able to wear different hats within the real estate industry, because we're generally so conditioned to doing or to multitasking in just our personal lives. So I find that to be kind of interesting. But yeah, what are your lady? I'm sure I'm gonna need two hands for all the hats
No.
that you both wear.
Well, for me, my hats, I only wear a couple of hats.
Only a couple. You hear that, everyone? Only a couple.
We'll see. Go ahead, Kim.
I do have my real estate license here in Illinois. And I'm also, of course, we're real estate investors, real estate redevelopers. So, we do rehabbing and stuff like that. And we also do rental properties. So 3 hats, maybe?
Yep. So far, but I find more coming.
But within being a real estate investor, I handle the marketing for our company. We're also the therapist when we talk to sellers on the phone.
There you go. That's like the hat in the hat, right? It's the hat in the hat.
And like Lorraine said, we're multitasking. I'm also a juggler. So, you're juggling different things at the same time, trying to, make sure that you're putting out fires everywhere. That's literally what you're doing. You're the negotiator. And sometimes, you do have to play a little bit of attorney, but you also advise that you do go seek advice from a real attorney. But sometimes, you do have to give some sort of, opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, we do wear lots of different hats, but within that hat, there's like sub hats.
I love that sub hats.
Love it. There's sub hats. There's a mini hat underneath the hat.
Yes. Basically.
Like the little dolls that come in the
the everlasting dolls. Yeah.
Yes.
That's us.
Love it.
So I do have hats, and so I have the real estate investor hat that it's like my main one, right? It's my main one, the one that I used to run the business. And under that, there's like those mini hats, like Kim, you were saying. So in my company, I'm the one that mainly does the marketing, and then, the acquisition hat. So those sub hats plays into that, under that same hat. And of course, my role as a mother and as a daughter, because yes, I have a father who you just go to those appointments. That's what you do. Yeah, you follow up with those appointments, ignore the appointment, and all of that. So it's part of the hats. And yes, so it brings me to the question, like Kim, you were mentioning, like we are jugglers, right? We juggle with things. And Lorraine, you use multitasking. So what does it look to you being a multitasker?
So I think because the different hats that I wear blend together at one point or another, it sometimes doesn't feel like multitasking, because when you're doing one activity, it sometimes covers both hats. And I don't know if that makes sense, but to me, it just feels like I'm being productive because I'm doing different things. It doesn't feel like multitasking sometimes.
I love the word that you use, productive, because I think that's mainly that, right? Either you have, because life gives you different roles. We all have different hats, but the truth is you cannot wear 2 hats at the same time. If you
True.
do, you won't be productive. Like you have to have one at one time. You do whatever you need to do into with this hat, and then you move on to the next one. And so the multitasking itself, in the book The One Thing by Gary Keller that we were reading, it's just, I love how he describes that it's a myth, it's a lie in the society that you can actually do several things at the same time, right? It,
Right.
we can't do that. Go ahead, Kim.
Well, what I was going to say is that, it's when you wearing all of these different hats and being able to do all these different things, you have a process.
Yes,
So, starting at point A, you work your way into B, C, and D. So, you are being productive, although you're doing different things, wearing, different positions in your company. But, we talked about this previously in other episodes where, it's important to kind of work in the different departments, per se, in your company. So this way, you are familiar with it. So when it's time to pass that off to somebody else, train somebody else to do it, you've already done it. So you can then train that person to do it.
I love that.
And I think that's what happens when you're first starting your business. You are the whole business. You are the marketing department. You are the
Yeah,
acquisitions. You are each department. So yes, you come in wearing all the hats, but operationally you kind of need to know that, because you need to know, to your point, Kim, how everything operates, how you want things to operate. That's how you start to develop your SOPs, or what we call our standard operating procedures. You're not
right.
going to know what those standards are if you're not doing it and kind of going through the trial and error and saying, okay, this is how I thought I wanted it to be. But then when you're actually going through the process, you're like, let me tweak this here and there.
Mm,
So
Yeah,
it's going through that process to understand how you want things to be done, and what needs to be automated, or what needs to be outsourced, so that you can actually scale and grow the business.
right. Because, going back to the book, The One Thing, at some point you're going to need to, as an entrepreneur, you're going to need to delegate, because
yes,
you literally can't do all of the things all of the time. So,
Mhm.
you're going to have to bring on new team members, and being able to delegate, and pass those things off. And then you can then focus on that one thing that you're really good at
exactly.
to move the business forward.
I
That
don't
one
remember.
act.
Yes, I don't remember which book it was. It was saying delegate everything if except your own genius.
Mm.
Oh,
Huh? I like that. So I just wanted to plug in a quote from the book, The One Thing that Kim was saying. It says, I like this one because of the multitasking thing, that it's a myth, right? It says, bounce between one activity and another, and you will lose time as your brain reorients to the new task. Those milliseconds adds up. Researchers estimate we lose 28% on average workday to multitasking ineffectiveness.
Wow.
That's I think that's so powerful, because so many times people will ask me, like, how do you do all those things? The truth is, we do not do all those things, right? It's like we do the right thing. We just do the right thing.
so is that quote saying that we lose 28% 28% of our effectiveness by not focusing on one thing at the same time, or
Yes,
at one point in time?
yes.
Okay, that
So
makes sense.
I've seen people being on a phone and at the same time trying to have a conversation with me. And I'll be like in a meeting and they'll be like on a phone and trying to have a conversation with me. And I can tell that, there's like a little flinch in their eyes. I can tell that the brain is like trying to say, like, okay, plug yourself. Is it in front or is it on the phone? Like, you can't do both things. And that's just so true. That's how our brain are wired. And so I think the main thing that we do every day is figure out what is a priority. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I mean, I can attest to that, because this morning, I sat at my desk, and, I wrote down a list of things that I need to get done today. And at some point, the phone rings and then the email chimes, and I'm like, okay, I need to focus, because literally you're going back and forth. You're not going to be able to get my list. I haven't even touched my list yet because I got sidetracked.
But that
So
That's
happens.
absolutely true.
Yeah.
Busy doing nothing. It's pretty much what happens. No
And I don't
product.
know if you both could. I can't recall at this moment what the acronym is for sort of prioritizing the what we want to get done for the day. It's like putting it in like ABC categories or something to that effect. Um, and that usually helps us to kind of hone in or focus on, okay, if I get these 1, 2, 3 things done in my A category, then my day will be successful. And it speaks more to both, to what you're both speaking about in terms of, okay, just have one focus. And once that's done, then you move on to the next, and then you move on to the next. And maybe that helps to improve the effectiveness of our days. But I can't seem to recall what the acronym is. It's not the SMART goals. It's something else. But in any event, I'll update everyone on one of our future
I mean,
episodes.
at some point we have to know when it's time to let go. Like when do we know it's time to let go of one of those things that you're doing that's taking up a lot of your time?
So for us, in our business, and I know because I know both of you ladies do the marketing like I do. Remember the time where you were the one posting every day on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn?
Yes.
Remember how you will sit and you'll open like Hootsuite and you will plan everything for the whole month, or at least Hootsuite will let you do just for like 3 weeks. So you will do the 3 weeks thing, and you have like this schedule, all program, and it was just so much. So marketing was actually that type of marketing was the one thing that I've let go because I knew that I could rely on companies that do it so effectively, and they're professional at this, so it's not me trying to crop the image, trying to match it to find the colors and all of that. So for me it was such a good investment of money because it liberated so much of my time so that I can actually do higher marketing that's more effective in our business.
Right, because at some point you have to realize what is your time worth,
Exactly. Yeah.
and time is everything.
Mhm.
Time is everything. Yes.
Well, the one important thing that I have continued to realize going on this entrepreneurial journey is that our focus is really to be on income producing activities, right?
Yes.
And a lot of times in the beginning, since you're doing everything, the non-income producing activities always seem to be the activities that take the longest or that are the most
Yeah.
tedious, but they are things that need to be done. And so when you start to realize, okay, this is something that I can let go, right? This is something that I can outsource, then we start to focus more on the income producing activities. And that's when we start to see the business really start to move and make income, start to make more revenue.
Yeah. I mean, but for anybody who's, looking to get into real estate, I mean, there are multiple avenues that you can take. You don't necessarily have to be a real estate agent, or even be a real estate investor. You can be all of the other things. You can be a loan officer,
Yeah.
like you said, a home inspector. And lots of people are doing wholesaling. You can be a real estate
Yes.
wholesaler, so you don't actually have to just be a real estate agent going and showing houses or representing buyers and sellers. You can, and foreclosure specialist. Like, I didn't even know that was such a thing, but doing a little bit of reading, I did find out that there's you can be a foreclosure specialist. So there are lots of ways to get into the real estate industry, and
Mhm.
those are just a few of them that you can do.
Yep.
And then
Even
once you're
attorneys.
in, yes, sorry to cut you off, Lorraine.
Oh
Then
no, you're
once you're in, just to piggyback on what you're saying, like concentrate on what's going to produce the income, because you're not doing this for charity. So yeah, if you want to live out of it, like you have to produce income somewhere. So just make sure that what you are doing, the meeting that you're attending, is it going to lead you somewhere, right? Like we say, network, but just be mindful of those Zoom meetings that you're having. Like if you're spending your whole day, like 6 hours per day into Zoom session with everybody, and it's not getting anywhere, maybe that's not a good use of your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to reevaluate your things and really put things in perspective into your one thing. What is my goal for this year? And then dissect that. If I want to buy, this rental property this year, well, what are the steps that I need to do? And then cut it into month. This month, what do I need to do? This way, there's like less distraction around because you have more clarity. And as we're saying, like, the one thing is true. If you just focus on that, you will reach your goals.
And there you have it. Focus on one thing. Although there are so many different ways to get into real estate, pick one, focus on it.
Really. And give it some time, right?
Oh, don't do it for like a day or 2 days.
Yes. But really, I've seen people, they'll be like, oh, I've tried this, I've tried that, I've tried that. And I'm like thinking like, wow, like, was it like for 1 week only that you're a realtor and
Yeah.
like it didn't work out? Like, give it some time.
And the benefit in giving it time is that maybe you do develop your niche within that one avenue. And then that helps once you identify a niche, because kind of just going back to one of our previous episodes, then that helps to narrow the focus even more because now you have more clarity on what you're trying to target, establishing your goals around that one activity. So, yeah, I would say the niche aspect of focusing on one hat or one goal or one industry is really what kind of brings it together. So
Yeah. I mean, because ultimately we all want to be able to, to be free, to walk away from the business and let it still run. You know
Yes.
what I mean? So being able to focus on one thing, delegate all the rest, you'll be able to get to that point faster.
yep.
Yes, absolutely.
So, ladies, it was a wonderful conversation.
Yes,
I know.
yes.
Yeah. So, until next time, we are here every Thursday at 4 o'clock Eastern.
Yes.
And until next week, know your why.
Know your heart.
And know your purpose. Thanks for joining, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.